you watched any one of these videos about building a custom GPT for your class and thought, I need to make one of those, I have some bad news. You may not be able to anymore. OpenAI released a statement in August of 2026 saying new custom GPT creation and publishing are no longer available on personal ChatGPT accounts, including free, Go, Plus, and Pro. So, in this video, I'm going to cover what happens to the GPTs you may already have created and what your realistic alternatives to the GPT are if you want to stay inside ChatGPT. Hi, I'm Chris, and welcome to the AI Professor, where I help college professors figure out what AI means for their classroom without turning teaching into a full-time career in AI policing. First things first, I want to publicly declare I am very disappointed in this OpenAI update. Custom GPTs were one of the easiest ways professors could build things like AI tutors, career coaches, grading assistants, and course-specific tools without knowing how to code. I also want to give this disclaimer before you panic. Check your own account because while I was preparing this video, I checked mine and I was still able to create a brand new GPT. So apparently, this change has not reached every account yet. If you still have that create button, and there's a GPT you've been meaning to build, personally, I would not procrastinate. Also, if you've already built a custom GPT, OpenAI says you can still use it. And if your plan and permission allows it, you can still edit it. If your college or organization has a ChatGPT business, enterprise, or EDU account, custom GPT creation is still available there, depending on what your administrator allows. So let's jump into the options of what's available to replace custom GPTs within ChatGPT. Option one is projects. So if your custom GPT idea was something that you would use primarily for yourself, projects are probably your easiest replacement. So let's give an example. Say you wanted to build a grading assistant. You can create a project, upload the assignment instructions, the rubric, maybe some examples of your feedback, some examples of your expectations for that assignment, and give ChatGPT project specific instructions about how you want it to help you. Those instructions and files stay within that project, just like a custom GPT. So for a professor facing workflow, a project is actually pretty good. In addition to that grading assistant, you may want to consider a project for course planning, maybe for assignment redesign. Projects are super great for rubric development. Maybe you want to create a feedback bank. And good news, projects can now be shared. But I have a caveat. I highly recommend not trying to turn a project into a student tutor. A shared project is designed as a collaborative space. So if you wanted to share your project with fellow professors, great. If you wanted to share your project with a work group, great. The people in that project can see the chats, the files, the instructions, and who else is in the project. So the problem is if I put 30 students into one project and try to turn it into an AI tutor like I use some of my GPTs for, everybody would essentially be working inside that same shared environment. That's not what you want from a private AI tutor. So, for your own workflow, projects are a very good option. For 30 students independently talking to an AI tutor, not so much. All right, let's go over option 2, which is ChatGPT Sites. If you have not played around with ChatGPT's new work and sites feature, I highly recommend it. It's pretty mind-blowing. As an example, I want to show you a website I built with zero coding skills. This is an interactive activity called the first 60 minutes that I use in one of my public safety courses. The objective is for students to work through an emergency scenario. They're going to have to make decisions and then see the consequences of those decisions while they move through the incident. ChatGPT helped me create the entire thing. As I mentioned, I have zero coding skills. So, for something structured like a website or an interactive activity, sites can be fantastic because you can create branching activities, simulations, interactive resources, forms, and it looks much more polished than just handing them another worksheet or even that custom GPT. But I really want to emphasize what the difference is between a site and a true AI assistant or that custom GPT. So a site follows a structure you design. It can guide students through steps, give them choices, show them different outcomes, and it can even collect information from them. But an AI tutor, a career coach, or a course specific GPT is different because students ask those tools questions you can't predict. The AI then responds based on your knowledge files or your specific course materials that you've given it. You can give it detailed instructions about how it should behave, what it should not do, what questions it should ask the students, and exactly how much help it should give them. All of that, Sites does not automatically replace. You can absolutely build a site that looks like an AI tutor or that career coach, but it won't actually think. It doesn't have the AI brain behind it. It can't respond conversationally. It doesn't stay grounded in your course materials. And it won't follow all the guardrails that you've set up in a custom GPT. And that brings me to option number 3. The third option is to take the idea you may have had for a custom GPT and turn it into an actual application. Technically, you can do that. If you wanted to build an AI tutor or some other tool students could interact with, you could create an app that connects to an OpenAI model through an API. You could give OpenAI access to your course materials. You could add the instructions, those guardrails. You could create individual student sessions, and you could build an interface that looks and works however you want. So, yes, creating an application is an option that would actually get you closest to what a custom GPT used to do. But there are a few catches to this, and it requires 3 things that I'm not particularly interested in donating unlimited amounts of to this project: time, coding, and money, honey. I'm a criminal justice professor. I'm not opening a software company. And I think that's the biggest problem with this change for professors. If you were using a GPT behind the scenes for yourself, we have good alternatives. If you want to build a structured interactive activity, Sites may work really well. But if you wanted to build a true student facing AI tutor, career coach, advising assistant, something that your students could privately talk to and it would stay grounded only in the knowledge files that you provided or your course materials, there is no equally simple replacement on a personal ChatGPT account right now that I have found other than building a true application, and I'm not willing to do that. One more thing that I want to address because it's been coming up in my course design recently. Before you adopt any of these options within ChatGPT, you need to think about accessibility. If your college or university requires a voluntary product accessibility template known as a VPAT or some type of accessibility review before you use technology with your students, make sure you check your institutions, your states, requirements before assigning ChatGPT as part of your course. I have discovered that OpenAI does have a VPAT listed in its trust portal, but the public information specifically references ChatGPT Enterprise and ChatGPT EDU accounts. I would not, and I am not, assuming that means my personal Plus or Pro account has been cleared for whatever accessibility process my college requires. Just because AI built the website does not mean it automatically meets Section 508 compliance. I know this firsthand because when I built that website the first 60 minutes, I found accessibility problems and I had to go back and fix it. So here's the bottom line. If you already have a custom GPT that you love and you've been working with, keep using it. Yay! Remember to keep testing it. You can edit it. If you can still see the option in your account to create one, you may want to build the GPT you've been putting off because your access may be going away very shortly. If you no longer have that option, ask yourself what you're trying to build. If what you're trying to build is for you or your fellow professors or your coworkers to use, you may want to try a project. If what you wanted to create was a structured student activity, I highly recommend taking a look at ChatGPT Sites. But if you were planning to build a true AI tutor or something your students would be interacting with that was based solely on knowledge files or your course materials, understand the easy no code solution we had with custom GPTs does not have an equally easy replacement that I have found so far. And yes, that means some of my previous custom GPT videos are now outdated for anyone trying to build a new one on a personal account. Welcome to Teaching with AI. Things change constantly. Apparently, we now redesign our assignments, our policies, and now our AI tools too. If you already built a custom GPT, tell me in the comments what you're using it for. For those of you who lost the create option, I especially want to know what you were planning to build because I'm starting to look at other tools as a practical replacement. And I'll be covering what I found in future videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.